GTA 6 is releasing November 19th, 2026, but if we're being honest, we haven't seen or heard much about how the game's gonna play out. And with the trailers that are out for this game, fans have been connecting the dots on how they think the story will pan out and what features the game will have. Because, as we all know, Rockstar really loves to hide details inside their trailers that blow our minds once we know what it all really meant. The very first scene that we see in the first trailer is Lucia wearing an orange jail suit and being interviewed by a prison official. Our first look at Lucia shows the increase in detail over even Red Dead 2's graphical superiority. Her hair is among the most realistic we've seen in games recently, and the lighting from the window captures the texture of its waves perfectly. Rockstar could have introduced us to the highly anticipated GTA 6 with a massive explosion, a high-speed chase, or a shot of the Vice City neon skyline. Instead, they chose a much more grounded moment of one of our protagonists locked up behind bars. That has to have a huge narrative purpose, and knowing Rockstar, they're hiding something which the fans will only connect once the game is ended. If we look at the character descriptions that have been floating around the community, there's a very specific piece of lore regarding her imprisonment. Life has been coming at her swinging ever since. Fighting for her family landed her in the Leonida Penitentiary. Sheer luck got her out. Lucia's learned her lesson, only smart moves from here. It sounds like her sentence gets cut short, and we can only guess why. Is it a case of the prison being overpopulated, so they release lower level offenders early on probation? She was probably in for a robbery or something similar, and the ankle monitor we see in her promotional art is just a strict part of her parole agreement. I don't know if that's realistic to how the legal system works anywhere in the US, but I expect Rockstar to play fast and loose with how the law works for the sake of a great GTA story. But what if it's deeper than just sheer luck? I'm wondering if she actually turned state's witness against someone that she was criminally involved with back in Liberty City, and the FIB relocated her down to Leonida, allowing her to get herself out of prison on a deal. It makes sense if we assume Jason was already in a relationship with her in Liberty City. It looks like he's also arrived in Leonida and is preparing Brian's place for her release. Also, maybe the diner robbery we saw in Trailer 1 was what led to her arrest in the first place. Maybe Lucia did something reckless to put herself in trouble, and Jason was waiting safely in a getaway car nearby, meaning she got flagged by the cops and he didn't. There's the part in Trailer 2 where she says something like, "This could be a new start for us, and to new beginnings." I don't see why she would say that and then immediately go back to doing robberies with Jason that could lead to another arrest. That new start scene seems to take place shortly after she leaves prison, while they're getting reacquainted with each other and trying to stay clean. But what if Rockstar completely played us? What if that opening shot of Lucia in the orange jumpsuit isn't the beginning of the game, but the ending? We're all assuming we start the game as Lucia getting out of jail, but what if the game ends with her getting caught? And more importantly, what if she doesn't just get caught but gets sold out? Betrayal is a recurring theme in Rockstar games. It appears in almost every game. I would not be surprised at all if this becomes exactly like GTA 3. Just look at the track record. In GTA 3, Catalina betrays Cloud during a bank heist. In Vice City, Lance betrays Tommy Vercetti. In San Andreas, Big Smoke, Gryder and OG Locke betray CJ and the Grove Street families. Even in GTA 4, Darko, Dimitri and Michelle all betray Nico Bellic in different ways. And in GTA 5, everyone betrays each other depending on the ending you choose. With a history like that, what if Lucia betrays Jason? Or what if Jason betrays Lucia to save himself? They're clearly setting up a passionate Bonnie and Clyde dynamic, but the reality of that lifestyle is that it always ends in tragedy. If the law finally corners them in Leonida, and the FIB offers one of them a deal to walk away clean, who takes it? If Lucia is in that prison interview room at the end of the game looking defeated, it might not be because she got caught. It might be because she sold out the man she loves, or realized he was the one who put her there. There are literally so many possibilities that they could go with. The traffic on the road in the background includes a variety of GTA staple vehicles, including trucks, RVs, boats and motorbikes. And on the side of a semi, we can see the branding for Patriot, the beer that first appeared in GTA 4. Off in the distance, we can see an incredibly tall broadcast mast, based on the real WTVY TV tower. And if you're from Florida, you would know that this is the highest point in all of Florida. I can only hope that we'll be able to climb to the top and base jump from it. But as the shot pans up, we get a look at a packed beach. And this is where you can really see the leap in the game's technical architecture and crowd density. This could very well be the HD Universe's version of either Washington Beach or Ocean Beach, the iconic beaches from the original Vice City. The number of NPCs, the complex geometry of the sand and all the ambient life surpass all their previous titles. If you look up at the sky in that same shot, the devs added in some brilliant, nostalgic callbacks to their roots. Crossing the skyline is a classic Maverick helicopter. Choppers were first fully introduced to the franchise back in Vice City, and they feature throughout this trailer. Also among the skyline is another legendary vehicle, the Dodo plane. If you played the original Vice City, you definitely have some PTSD from flying this thing to drop flyers during the infamous Dildo Dodo mission. This time, the Dodo has an advertising banner that reads, 919 Vice City. Why 69 when you can 919? This is a classic Rockstar parody, taking a direct hit on Miami's real-world, ultra-exclusive 24/7 nightclub, E1111. The architecture among the beach and in the surrounding areas is pure Miami vibes, which, of course, is the place upon which Vice City is based. While many buildings in the trailer are following the real city's vibe, there are some others that are replicas of actual places like the one on the right, where we can see a tower block with a distinctive hole in its roof, which is 500 Brickell, a twin-tower condo development on Brickell Avenue. Then we see a rural area that looks inspired by the Florida Everglades. This also showcases GTA 6's range of areas. Much like in GTA 5, the city will be a part of the overall map. We also see an airboat sailing by. This could be one of the forms of transport that we'll be able to use to navigate the wetlands. And these are densely populated areas with lots of wildlife like the flamingos, alligators and crocodiles, which is something new for GTA. There's also a scene of Lucia going wild while someone is filming her. It hints that social media will be a big part of GTA 6, and we'll see how it plays its part. But in the background, we can see a glittering skyscraper with a hole in it, most likely a reference to Miami's famous Atlantis condominium. The building was also featured in the original Vice City. We also see an in-game video clip, this time from High Rollers, showing a man wearing a Righteous Slaughter t-shirt. That's a reference to the Call of Duty-like game played by Michael's son in GTA 5. It seems like it's had a sequel since then, or several, since it's been 10 years since we visited Los Santos. As this shirt has the Blood Ops subtitle, a clear nod to the Black Ops series. It wouldn't be a true GTA without a strip club scene. Judging from the number of singles covering the stage and the floor, it seems like we're catching the club right at the start of the week. If you look closely at the balcony, a neon sign clearly advertises Make It Rain Mondays. But for the veteran players looking for classic nostalgia, there's zero F1 racing theming in here, which makes it highly unlikely that this is the legendary pole position club from the original Vice City. Nightclubs are a big part of GTA, so we're not surprised to see one here in the trailer. Owning clubs was a significant part of both the original Vice City and GTA Online, so maybe we'll be able to buy and manage this one. The back of the shirt lists the locations the dolls played on the tour, including GTA 4's Liberty City and Alderney City, the three cities from San Andreas, Los Santos, Las Venturas and San Fierro, and, of course, Vice City. If you were wondering whether Ocean View Hotel features in Vice City, the trailer answers the question and makes you nostalgic. In the trailer, we see the HD Universe recreation of the original game's iconic boardwalk, complete with the Ocean View Hotel, which was Tommy Vercetti's very first safe house. You can even spot the retro yellow and white Oceanic car that was always parked outside. And the cars in the game are gonna be insane. We see a huge number of cars that are parked out front of the hotels, and some of these are GTA's beloved hypercars. Most recognizable from afar is likely the Cheetah, this retro white machine inspired by the 1980s classic Ferrari Testarossa. Behind it is a blue Porsche like fits a Comet, while in front is a red Carbonizzare based on the Ferrari F12. There are also GTA versions of the Dodge Charger, Corvette C8 and more hiding among the traffic that we'll explore once the game releases. The GTA 6 community is also locked in a debate over that shot of a woman in a white bikini that pops up around the 38-second mark of the trailer. See, some fans couldn't help but notice that the woman looks a lot like Lucia. She even has two of the more prominent birthmarks we see on Lucia's face at the start of the trailer. If we assume for a moment that it is Lucia, then we're either looking at some kind of a flashback sequence that shows her life before incarceration, or we're looking at a version of Lucia that could exist once players have progressed through the game and improved her lifestyle a bit. Personally though, I think those are actually two different characters. Mixed in with the social media footage, we see a police raid on a building. It's interesting to note this is body cam footage, as noted in the top right corner of the frame. This could be a throwaway shot to explore the action of the game, or it could be pointing to the police having a larger presence in the narrative. This is something the larger GTA community has wanted for some time, and many have pointed to wanting to play as an undercover cop. If you've been playing GTA since the GTA 4 days, you already know the legendary HD Universe brand Pisswasser, which is Rockstar's mockery that literally translates from German to piss water. Well, if you look incredibly closely during the trailer when Jason and Lucia are walking through the convenience store, you can spot a neon cooler advertising Pisswasser 9. 9 is German for no, confirming this is their brand new, non-alcoholic variant. Right there on the glass door of that same convenience store, there's a tiny sticker that reads, Petty for life. And it's honestly one of the coolest Easter eggs Rockstar has ever pulled off. First off, it's a tribute to the late, great Tom Petty. The trailer features this banger of a song, Love is a Long Road, and I've been hooked on this song to this day. Since Petty was a legendary real-life musician born right in Gainesville, Florida, he is the undisputed saint of Leonida. The word petty is a narrative hint as well, describing Jason and Lucia's criminal status. They're starting out at the bottom as petty thieves, robbing convenience stores before they rise up to become the kingpins of the Leonida underworld. And we have to talk about the store itself, Uncle Jack's Liquor and Beverages. This tiny location perfectly captures the gritty vibe of the game. Part of the scene is shown through a grainy, dirty security camera, reinforcing that modern Bonnie and Clyde theme, where Jason and Lucia are constantly being watched and recorded. To make it feel even more like Florida, the store also features a porn and gun sign right outside. We all knew social media was going to play a part in a modern-day GTA, but the execution here is flawless. Throughout the trailer, you can spot live badges in the corners of vertical videos. It looks like these chaotic events are happening right at that very moment in the game world. The screens are filled with things that look exactly like real apps. You have active viewer counts ticking up, floating hearts rising on the side of the screen, follow buttons and comments flying by in real time. There's also the fake live chat. Rockstar nailed actual internet behavior with accuracy. If you pause and read the chat, you see random unhinged usernames, spammed emojis, and people typing the exact kind of weird, toxic or clueless stuff that happens in reality on social media. This social media is used to show off some of the most insane activities happening across the state of Leonida. We see tons of things being live streamed straight from phone camera perspectives. You have coordinated groups of dirt bike and quad riders completely taking over the highways, going through traffic and pulling off stunts. You have wild, crowded yacht parties, packed underground nightclubs and backyard events with monster trucks. The first trailer pays tribute to the real-life incidents of Florida and how it uses real-world viral insanity to build the cultural foundation of Leonida. We all remember the Miami Joker. Back in 2017, Patrick Sullivan was arrested in Miami on charges of carrying a concealed firearm after allegedly threatening passing cars. But his face became so popular on social media with bright green hair, pale skin, and tattooed facial scars. He looked like a walking copy of Batman's greatest villain, Joker. Then we have the rooftop twerking. Back in March 2017, there was an incredibly strange rise in car twerkers. Specifically in Miami. Women were literally jumping onto the roofs of moving cars to dance for nearby motorists. By including this in the trailer via a fake social media feed, Rockstar is showing us that they're transforming social media algorithms into pedestrian AI logic. This is the kind of behavior that's going to be the heartbeat of the city's traffic. You can't have a game set in Florida without honoring the classic Florida man. The trailer gives us a naked man running from the cops, which mirrors a June 2017 incident where a Knoxville man, embodying true Florida energy threw his personal belongings off a balcony, pulled the fire alarm, and paraded naked down the avenue. Imagine this happening randomly during the game. It would be honestly ridiculous and brilliant to see this happen in game, as a random, strangers and freaks style encounter that pops up on your minimap while you're driving to a mission. Over 3 years ago, a woman was caught on camera violently attacking a car in a residential area. Interestingly, this is the only incident from the trailer we couldn't actually trace back to Florida. It happened in Chatsworth, Los Angeles. The real-world context is big. She had allegedly been harassing her neighbors and hurling racial abuse at them for over a year. It sets up the possibility that we'll see serious, localized hostility in the open world, potentially even directed at our protagonist, Lucia, who's of Latin descent. Finally, the wildlife. There have been countless incidents in Florida of alligators and crocodiles causing panic in public spaces. The trailer leans into this, showing gators being dragged out of swimming pools and wandering into convenience stores. This tells us a huge amount about the game's ecosystem. The wildlife is not going to be like we saw in RDR2. The predators are going to invade. It also means a late night run to a gas station could turn into a survival horror moment in wetlands. The soundtrack of the trailer is one that will be remembered for years to come, and if you listen to the lyrics closely, it may well be spoiling just about everything. But what's so special about this song? First of all, it's a banger of a song that perfectly fits the neon-drenched theme of a vibrant Vice City. But the real deal is the lyrics, and how they might actually be foreshadowing a lot of insane plot points. Breaking down Tom Petty's legendary track, Love Is a Long Road, might just give us a hint of what's to come and how it'll all play out. This track was originally released way back on Tom Petty's 1989 album, Full Moon Fever. Rockstar chose this specific song for a reason. When the lyrics start with, "There was a girl I knew, she said she cared about me," it mirrors the trailer's emphasis on trust. Specifically, that final tense moment where Lucia looks Jason in the eye and asks, "Trust?" and he responds, "Trust." Because the song opens with this reflection, fans are going wild speculating that the game's story might actually be told in retrospect. Meaning, we might be experiencing the events of the game after a massive betrayal has already happened. Possibly with Jason reflecting on everything while Lucia's already serving her prison stint, which we saw in the opening shot. As the track continues with "She tried to make my world the way she thought it should be," it points to Lucia being the leader of the duo. Throughout the entire trailer, she's clearly the one taking the lead, giving the orders and driving the narrative forward. If Jason feels his world is being dragged into a dangerous criminal lifestyle by her, it sets up the rumoured honor system mechanic. The line, "Yeah, we were desperate then to have each other to hold," matches that gritty Bonnie and Clyde vibe. It shows that two people are desperate for a real human connection while trying to survive the chaotic criminal underworld of Leonida. And then there's the iconic part that I really love. But love is a long, long road. But there's a very dark side to this. In the world of GTA, being in it forever usually means your life is going to end pretty quickly. If the road gets too long and the heat gets too hot, one of them might not make it to the end. One of them might actually flip and make a deal with the authorities to save themselves. This is the same theory that I mentioned at the start of the video that circles right back to this opening shot of Lucia, locked up in a prison uniform. And the name of the song is also a nod to the fans who have been waiting for this game for ages. One of the main complaints from the previous GTA games was how boring the NPCs are, and with how the gaming industry has evolved with NPCs. I'm sure GTA 6 would set a new benchmark for NPCs in-game. A big focus of the 2022 Rockstar leak was changes to the way NPCs would act and react. There are speculations on how NPCs would react to violence, nearby interactions, and how they would move within groups and converse naturally. The trailer shows more of Vice City's population than the central characters, because Rockstar wants to show off this new living and breathing world that's taken over a decade to produce. It's always worth taking note of some of the people we see in the trailer, as they could be big parts of the story to come, particularly those who appear to be mid-cutscene or take up the whole frame. Perhaps we're seeing our key side characters. When Rockstar dropped the second trailer for GTA 6 on May 6, 2025, we all knew exactly what was going to happen. Every single frame of that footage was put under a microscope by the community. We were all hunting for clues about the story, looking for gameplay mechanics before the pre-orders went live, and searching for any nods to the 3D era. And because the cinematic cuts and action happens so fast, it's incredibly easy to miss the smaller details. But nothing gets past this passionate, dedicated community. One gamer spotted a brilliant Easter egg hiding right in the background of a chaotic scene that almost all of us missed on our first watch. There's a very brief scene in trailer 2 where we see Jason robbing a store. It's a fast moment designed to show off the new combat animations and facial reactions. But if you ignore the action in the foreground and pause the video exactly at the 33-second mark, look over to the left side of the background. Right there on the shelf is a wooden lizard decoration. It sounds random until you look at what the lizard is wearing. It's dressed in a turquoise Hawaiian shirt covered in dark palm trees. That is the exact iconic outfit worn by Tommy Vercetti, the legendary protagonist of the original GTA Vice City. The original shirt Tommy wore back in 2002 was itself inspired by the outfit Tony Montana wears in the 1983 movie Scarface. Since the entire location of Vice City was originally built as a love letter to the Miami depicted in Scarface. Also featured in the artwork is a small building with 3 round windows, located next to the Atlantic Hotel. Also, that's the building where Tony Montana famously confronted the chainsaw-wielding guys in Scarface. I expect this to be one of many Scarface references in GTA 6. So, will Tommy Vercetti come back in GTA 6? Would you want to see him ruling his empire as a ruthless villain, or maybe as an untouchable NPC, hanging out in his massive mansion? While the idea of Tommy returning is incredibly exciting, the reality is that it doesn't actually align with Rockstar's story architecture, or even the GTA 6 story. A direct return is basically impossible. Rockstar Games divides its titles into 2 separate universes, the 3D universe and the HD universe. Tommy Vercetti belongs to the 3D era, alongside GTA 3 and San Andreas. Meanwhile, GTA 4, 5 and the upcoming GTA 6 fall entirely under the HD universe, which is a new timeline with zero direct continuity to the older games. Way back in an official 2011 Q&A, Rockstar confirmed that major characters from the 3D universe would not magically migrate over to the HD titles, because of shifts in tone, writing and worldbuilding. What this means is that Tommy, as a legendary character, is stuck in his own timeline. Since GTA 6 is introducing fresh protagonists like Lucia and Jason, there isn't any narrative space or timeline continuity for the Vercetti crime family to make a literal comeback. At least, I hope there's a cool Easter egg that tells us what really happened to our boy Tommy Vercetti. One scene that happens randomly during the trailer is Jason bench pressing. Well, maybe this is a random scene from the trailer, but OG fans who have been asking for this feature since San Andreas must be happy. If you pause and look closely, he's shredded, working out at an outdoor beach gym, clearly inspired by the real-life Muscle Beach in Miami. That brought back memories of GTA San Andreas. The gym system was a huge part of the game. You could lift weights to build muscle, improve your stamina by running, or ignore fitness completely, eat nothing but Cluck and Bell, and slowly get overweight. Your choices actually changed how CJ looked and played. GTA 5 had outdoor gyms like the one at Vespucci Beach, but they were just decorations. Michael, Franklin and Trevor couldn't actually build muscle or change their physique. Now, with Jason working out in the trailers, a lot of fans think that system could finally be making a comeback. There are also leaks mentioning places like Multi-Gym, Muscle Beach Gym, and even wrestling rings across the map. Of course, take those with a grain of salt, but it definitely feels like Rockstar is hinting at something. And, like RDR2 has a weight system, this game could very well build upon it. I really hope a feature like that is implemented in the game. Throughout the trailers, we see lots of cars customized in different ways, and it's safe to assume that there will be car customization in the game, especially after the $99.99 Ultimate Edition confirmed 2 special mod shops, Rideout Customs and One-Eyed Willie's. So how will it work? Instead of having one garage that does everything, Leonida could feature multiple customization shops, each specializing in something different. Rideout Customs seems to be aimed at street racing, performance tuning and custom builds. Vice Vinyl appears to focus on wraps, decals, stickers and unique paint jobs, while One-Eyed Willie's looks geared towards off-road vehicles, and the muddy monster trucks seen in the trailers. Rockstar also seems to be taking inspiration from Florida's car culture. Players may finally be able to build proper high-rises with oversized rims and lifted suspensions. There are also rumours of wheel stance and camber adjustments, letting you tilt your wheels inward or outward for those slammed street builds. Then there's the project cars, where vehicles can have mismatched body panels and primer-painted parts instead of looking showroom perfect. Some leaks also suggest in-car screens could actually function, allowing the GPS to appear directly on your dashboard while in first person. Several phone numbers shown throughout the trailer are actually active if you call them in GTA 5. You can spot them in places like the cash register Jason robs and Watkins Auto Parts billboard. They won't connect you to a real conversation, but they do ring instead of giving you a busy signal. The phone number written on the wall next to the police vehicles Jason drives past has its own recorded dialogue in GTA 5. When you call it, you'll hear a message telling you to call back later because no one's available to answer. As Jason drives past the police bust in the second GTA 6 trailer, you can see several gang members being arrested in front of a wall covered in Haitian-themed artwork. The wall is painted blue at the top and red at the bottom, with the word Haiti and portraits of important figures, suggesting that the gang being arrested is the Haitians, a group that was also a major part of GTA Vice City. If you remember Vice City, the Haitians were the main rivals of the Cubans, with both gangs constantly fighting for control of the poorer neighborhoods, especially Little Haiti and Little Havana. Since GTA 6 returns to Vice City, we may even see this rivalry in GTA 6. Who knows? Since GTA 6 is aiming for a much more immersive version of Leonida, Rockstar has filled the world with fictional versions of real-life places, brands and sports teams, and even takes real-world inspirations. One detail appears when a sports fan is watching a video on his phone while wearing a turquoise Manatees jersey, which is GTA's version of the Miami Dolphins. The trailers are filled with similar references to sports teams and local culture. There's a hotel party that resembles the famous Clevelander on Miami Beach, and plenty of parody brands return as well. One of the most recognizable is Pisswasser, Rockstar's fictional beer brand that's a parody of Budweiser. And some of you probably didn't know about that. Just like these 10 things you didn't know about every GTA game.